Well, folks, good evening to you one and all. And wow, I tell you what, tonight is gonna be something else. Sports and GT round number 9, season 13 from Algarve. 14 corners, lots of elevation, and we're gonna be doing battle in the Audi 90. That's the car that we're gonna be using for our fun and battles tonight. Let's have a look, see who's gonna be out there. And let's start off with Willem Botha. He started his flying lap. Leon van Wyk in the being IT entry. Super Senior, Leonardo Beccari. Leonardo has definitely got some connectivity problems there. He's flashing on the screen. The 172 of the Super Seniors leader, that is Sandro Beccari. Peter van der Spey, the man that's lying second in the championship, that pulled off back-to-back wins at the last round that we had. JJ van der Merwe in his favorite color, green, going quicker and quicker and just getting more and more competitive. One of our leading people out there, Gerald Ferry in the 11 car. Ooh, look at that color scheme, beautiful. The Rothmans Audi colors. Takes you back in time. Timothy Stanton in the 77. Mr. Luke Easy in his favorite Momo colors. Oh, look at the elevation on that track. Massive amounts of elevation. Graham Stephen, one of the quickies out there. Heavy on the brakes. That's a blind rise corner that he's just gone through. And then Neil Lamprechts, otherwise known as Daniel on paper. But it looks like Willem Botha is probably going to be one of the first people that's going to go through to complete a flying lap. Let's have a look at the track map. There's the track map, and Willem's going to be the first man to come across the line. There's Willem across the line, and Leon van Wyk as well. Leon van Wyk comes through. Sandro Beccari. Look, he goes to the sharp end of the field. That's going to be something else. Timothy Stanton provisionally on the second row of the grid. Leonardo Beccari just about to come through. JJ van der Merwe. Ooh, he pops up ahead of Timothy Stanton. There's one for the books. JJ van der Merwe. He's had his ups and downs, and he's had a bit of disappointments here and there where it hasn't worked out nicely for him. But he's had a couple of very, very solid races as such. Sandro Beccari just ahead there of Peter van der Spey and Leonardo Beccari. We're waiting for Willem Botha to put up a time. He hasn't had a clean lap yet, as Gerald Ferry, as has Graham Stephen. Gotta love that Rothmans Audi colors. Takes you back to the days of Sarah van der Merwe with the Audi Quattro. Daniel Lamprechts, Neil in the 141. None of them having put in a solid lap without track limits. Wow, serious braking as he pops up and works his way through Lagos. Look at the elevation as he works his way downhill, playing with the accelerator. Sorry, there he goes up to Lagos. Four-wheel drift as he goes flying in there. So Willem Botha must be just about ready to complete his lap. Where does Willem Botha pop in? 6th position outside of row number 3. Daniel Lamprechts comes to the party. Wow, there was a flyer by Daniel Lamprechts, and that beating out so far on Gerald Ferry is in the house. And alongside Mr. Luke Easy. Look at that, using as much of that track as he possibly can. Super duper smooth is Gerald Ferry. Leon van Wyk's just put in another green sector. So Leon van Wyk is trying to get himself up onto the second row of the grid. There's Leon van Wyk. As he works his way around through Samsung. Going to go through the Craig Jones curve over the hill. Through the Craig Jones curve. Climbs the hill again. that blind rise entry through Portimao, back down the hill again. It's a good couple of these corners. Look at the elevation on that one. Runs it a little bit wide. That could have cost him a bit. That could have cost him. He's 1.6 off the front end. But then again, if he can pick up 4 tenths, 5 tenths, he can put it up onto the second row of the grid, on the inside line on the second row of the grid. So that is pretty interesting stuff. Everybody has put him a time. Sandro Bakari's done a very good one. He's just 3 seconds off the Masters guys. Leon does not manage to go any faster, but look, he's just put in another purple sector. Doesn't manage to go any quicker. He still finds himself in a very commanding first position on the timetable. 7.5 minutes gone of the possible 12 minutes. We're going to have 2 25-minute races with 3 minutes in between. Top half of the field will be inverted, so you need to be in pretty much that front 6 if you want to be on the front end of the grid. We keep an eye on Daniel Lamprecht. Leon van Wyk has put in yet another green sector. Leon van Wyk trying very, very hard. Let's keep an eye on, there's JJ coming through as well. Where's Leon on his lap? He's still got quite a long way to go on his lap as well. Willem Botha working his way around. Willem won't fancy being down in 9th position, that is for sure. Willem Botha in the 23 car. Getting the tail end wagging a little bit there, under power. Looks like these cars do a fair amount of four-wheel drift. If you turn them in and brake at the same time, you can get it into a full-on four-wheel drift and then just power out the other side. Willem Botha, nice and smooth, right on the edge of the curbstone. Surely this must be notably quicker for Willem Botha. Must be. Yeah, Willem Botha not managing to get any tighter. They went outside of the track limits. So Gerald Fourie has managed to get to within 6 tenths of our international racer Luc Lequezy. But that battle between Daniel Lamprecht, JJ van der Merwe, Leon van Wyk, Timothy Stanton, that's going to be a biggie. There's just 4 tenths between 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. There's nothing in this. And what I can tell you is, having watched some of the practice sessions, there's a massive slipstream that these cars produce. You can see it's got the extra wide spats on the side, and it's got that wing on the back, which creates quite a big drag behind the motor car, and that is where the slipstream comes into it. As he works his way up the hill, nice tight turn in there with a 77 car. Timothy Stanton, presently 6th overall on the grid. Let's go back to Leon van Wyk, who is 5th on the grid at the moment. A pretty similar section of the circuit. Oh, he goes into the pit, so he realized it wasn't going to be any quicker. So Luc Lequezy is the fastest man out there, but he hasn't stopped yet. He's still trying to get that car to go even quicker. 141.657 for Luc Lequezy. Doesn't manage to go any quicker with that. Gerald Fourie has gone in, but remember, Gerald Fourie has got a half a second on a Daniel Lamprecht and the rest. So to my mind, Gerald Fourie that's gone into the pits, he's not going to be too worried about the likes of Daniel Lamprecht, JJ, Leon, Timothy and Graham. Because in real terms, he's ending up with a situation that the man that he's got to keep hands on is in fact Luc Lequezy. Luc Lequezy gets away with at 141.657 It's going to be a very difficult man to hold on to. So Gerald Fourie will be hell-bent on making sure that Luke Lucchese does not get away. Use the toe from Luke Lucchese to get himself away from Daniel, JJ, Leon, and Timothy that find themselves very, very close to one. There's now only a tenth between JJ, Leon, and Timothy right now. So it's getting very close. Everybody pushing as hard as they can, and there we come to the last 2 seconds, and that's the end of the quali. So let's wait for that grid to come up. Let's have a look, see how this one's going to play itself out. I know these cars are very difficult to get off the line, so they said they're going to go for a rolling start. So, Sports and GT round number 9, and that is of season number 13 in Algarve. Luke Lucchese and Gerald Fourie on the front row of the grid. Daniel Lamprecht and JJ van der Merwe. Leon van Wyk with Timothy Stanton. On the fourth row is Graham Stephen and the super senior Sandra Bakari. Willem Buerta on the outside, and Peter van der Spey finds himself starting directly behind Sandra Bakari, and then Leonardo Bakari is the 11th and last vehicle out there on the grid. We're waiting for Graham Stephen to join. Graham Stephen's not on the grid yet either. Luke Lucchese as well. Leonardo Bakari is flashing quite heavily on my screen, so I think he's going to have some connectivity problems. There you see he pops up on the back row of the grid once again. Luke Lucchese and Graham Stevens still not linked in. Just waiting for the two of them to join up. Luke Lucchese is in. Graham Stevens is in. On the front row of the grid, the 24 car is Luke Lucchese on his outside. In the number 11, Gerald Fourie, JJ van der Merwe and Dana. That's going to be one hell of a fight for first and second, going down to turn number 1, and then for third and fourth, Daniel Lamprecht and JJ van der Merwe. Looks like one or two of the guys battling to get it off the line. You could hear that sound in the background as they try to bring that one off the line. Pretty difficult with the clutches on this vehicle. Not an easy one. Not the easiest car to drive either, as they work their way around. So for those of you that have arrived late, that's what the track map looks like. Algarve. The vehicles you see on track, one make, the Audi 90. Great power to weight ratio on these vehicles. Let's put up a track map that you can see exactly where they are as they work their way around. That's Portimao. Now they'll work their way down and through the kink. Very steep downhill there. Picks up massive amounts of speed very quickly. Climbs back up the hill again. Blind rise. There you can see. You can't even see the track. You've got to line it up very smooth and neatly. That's what Graham Stevens sees. Look how quickly that rev counter showed the revs going up. When he puts his foot down, the 77 car that's there on his outside is Timothy Stanton. Directly in front of him, the being IT entry of Leon van Wyk. The green one you see second from the left hand side, that's JJ van der Merwe. And alongside JJ van der Merwe, the multicolored light blue and dark blue, that's Daniel Lamprecht. And then on the front row of the grid, Gerald Fourie and Luke Lucchese. They're coming up towards the line, just about good to go. And they did say if you jump, you're going to get a penalty. They're going to do a rolling start. There you see the tunnel that goes through underneath the circuit. And they're just about good to go as they come up towards the line, waiting for that green light. Everybody holds station, and off they go down towards turn number 1. Oh, and there's a... looks like JJ van der Merwe that went off with that one. Unfortunately, we're going to see him drop down. going pretty wide, so it is look easy. It's Daniel Lamprecht. That three-way battle that you're seeing directly behind there, that's Leon van Wyk, it's Willem Botha that's in the middle of that package. Then it's Graham Stephen and Timothy Stanton in there behind that. Having a look on that inside line with the number one car, trying to make a move there. They still pretty much side by side. Willem Botha in the 23, having a look to go around the outside of Graham Stephen in that inside line, and he holds on to that. Willem Botha makes up that one position just behind the number one car, the 77 of Timothy Stanton. Behind Timothy Stanton, super senior Sandro Bakari. Let's go back to the sharp end of the field. Look easy from the new kid on the block, Daniel Lamprecht in that second position. Timothy Stanton's pretty close right now. Timothy Stanton is looking to see what he can do. So we go on board with Daniel Lamprecht. That's what it looks like. Following out there on Luke Easy. Luke's got the hammer down. Wow. Luke has really got the hammer down. He's already starting to make a bit of a gap. But let's go on board with Graham Stephen. Graham Stephen all over the back end of Willem Botha. They're using the track, the curbs, and a whole bunch more as they go up to complete lap number one. Luke Lekezia 145.54 from that rolling start. We're riding on board with Graham Stephen, his brother Michael Stephen. That's going to be doing the first 6 rounds with Nick Adcock overseas, doing some endurance racing. We know that young Tate Bishop's going to be joining there as well. Graham Stephen in a very good position right now. But looking back from Graham Stephen, there's somebody else that's also wanting to have a go. That's Timothy Stanton. Sandra Bakari from Peter van der Spey, and there's 1.9 seconds between the two of them. Oh, we've got a bit of an incident that has happened there, and that in fact I think was Gerald Ferry. Let's have a look, see what happened. Well, he slowed right, or something went wrong for Gerald Ferry. And then Willem Botha as well. Was that maybe connectivity problems? There's Willem Botha in the 23. Turns in. That was the contact. Just a little nibble from behind. Gets it all back together with a 23 car. And away he goes. See, Willem Botha was off circuit there with that one. But let's go back to the live. Oh, there's a big battle going on with that one. Let's go back to Look Easy. Who's leading out? From Daniel Lamprecht, from Leon van Wyk. Timothy Stanton going one-on-one with Graham Stephen. Graham Stephen going as tight as he possibly can through the corner, all over the back bumper. Is Timothy going to close that line off? I think he waited too long. Graham Stephen's up alongside him. Graham Stephen is up on that inside line. I think Graham Stephen might just be able to take it one away from Timothy Stanton. Timothy takes the longer line going in there, brings it through nice and smooth. Graham Stephen goes up one position. Just behind that is super senior Sandro Bakari in the 172. He's got the recovering JJ van der Merwe in there behind him. And then that battle, Peter van der Spey and the flashing car that you see behind him, that's Leonardo Bakari. I think he's sitting in Portugal or Northern Ireland or somewhere far away from us, from South Africa, is Leonardo Bakari. But let's go back to Timothy Stanton. Timothy Stanton still having that battle with Graham Stephen. That looks very, very even on pace. Let's have a look at the last laps as we keep an eye on Luke Lekezia. He did a 42.3. Daniel Lamprecht did a 43.08. Leon van Wyk at 43.72. Graham Stephen a 145.08. And then, so everyone's slower than the car in front of them, except for, and here we go, Timothy Stanton. Timothy Stanton did a 144.5. So that means that he took just short of a half a second that Timothy Stanton took out there of a Graham Stephen. But remember, there was a passing maneuver that happened in that lap as well. Let's go on board with Timothy Stanton. Oh, he's got good drive. Look at that one. That just shows you the slipstream effect. They work their way through Primera. Take that little kink, slight uphill, hard on the brakes, right through Lagos. Underneath the Goodyear Bridge, blind rise. Along the straight they go. Nice viewing point there from the left-hand side. Timothy Stanton, should I say. Oh, he gets it completely side. What a beautiful handling motor car that is. Under braking, the back end started coming around, but he held on to it. But this car allows you to do that. So Timothy Stanton's dropped now 1.3 seconds off the back end of Graham Stephen. That releases Graham Stephen to go and see if he can get his hands 1.8 seconds further ahead of him on the likes of Leon van Wyk. Let's have a look at the last lap time between Graham Stephen and Leon van Wyk. Graham Stephen a 143.7, a 143.2 by Leon van Wyk. But remember, there was, as I said, that passing incident. So we'll get a much better idea when we go on to the next lap to get an idea of exactly how that one is going to play itself out. Looking at the intervals, I think it's going to give us a better idea of exactly where we are. Lap number 4 out of a possible 15, 6 minutes 48 into 25 minutes. And your lead man, look, he's got wide open space in front of him. In there behind him is Daniel Lamprecht, that little red dot at the front that just went over the hill. That is your leader. Behind him is Leon van Wyk. And Leon van Wyk can see Daniel Lamprecht nice and clearly, in fact. Oh, look how he makes that to do one long sweep, taking 3 corners, turning the steer, pretty much like the Sorrel sweep on Killarney International Raceway. Double right-hander without elevation, going out into the Killarney back main, where you try and turn in just once and hold it in a saloon car like this in 4th gear, around about 145 to 150 kilometers an hour as you work your way through that corner. Leon van Wyk, look at that, running it up to the 7,000 RPM mark. Gears itself down. It does blip to 7.5, but in general, well, it does actually run to about 7,800 RPM. But that is where he's decided to do the gear changes. Leon van Wyk, as we ride on board with Leon van Wyk, the man in front of him, the new kid on the block, Daniel Lamprecht. His friends call him Neil. Look at this blind rise. Entry into the corner, blind exit on the corner, cannot see over the top of the rise. Right on the last, you can see where the apex of that right-hander is. As you work your way out of Sagres and through Galp and out into the front when we go. And that was a lap. Oh, trying to brake. Now, okay, let's see. How big is this toe that you get? It's pretty decent. Look at that. It's a pretty decent toe you get. No wonder Daniel Lamprecht did exactly what he did to try and break the toe between the two of them. We're locking up that right-hand front, that Audi Quattro 4-wheel drive. Pushing the revs right up to 7,800 as we are on board with Leon van Wyk, just 4 tenths off the back end of Daniel Lamprecht. I'm kind of thinking if it goes well and he can be close enough next time they come out into the straight, that he can actually use that slipstream and make a passing maneuver. Not completely impossible. Leon van Wyk behind Daniel Lamprecht, staying nice and close and tight. He's within 4 tenths of a second. That's pretty much where he needs to be when they work their way out of Sagres and down towards that long sweeping right-hander. Look how close he is now. I think we have to stay with this one. Blind rise, blind apex, blind for the exit. Oh, he turns it nice and tight up on the inside of the 141 of Neil Lamprecht. And it's a roundabout now that you're going to now keep the hammer down Stay right in there. Will Daniel Lamprecht try and break that toe by swapping sides on the circuit? I think that might just be the beginning of a passing maneuver. Look at this. Look at the vacuum behind that car. Will Leon van Wyk dive out? He's got enough time to do it. But will he take the chance? He decides, nope, not yet. What a lovely dice between these two. But there's another one going on. Let's go on board with Timothy Stanton. Timothy Stanton in there behind Graham Stephen, taking a much tighter line through there than what Graham Stephen did. Graham will probably draw slightly away from him as they come out of the corner over the blind rise. And you can see that, look at that beautiful viewing building on the left hand side. You can see the other straight on the right hand side, on the opposite side of that grandstand. Timothy Stanton's on the move. Timothy Stanton wants to have a go at Graham Stephen. He's within half a second at the moment now. He's got to bring that down. We've seen 0.4 is max to be able to make up in a slipstream up the front main. So he's got to get a whole bunch closer. He's 0.8 off. That's not good enough. Leon van Wyk, he's the man that is a whole bunch closer. I think he's lining this one up to make sure that when they come out of Sagres, he can get right at the back bumper as they go off the braking markers going into Galp, and that is going to be where he's possibly then going to be able to make. He is a lot quicker into that corner once again, as you see. Four-wheel drive scrounging to get some grip through Sagres. Oh, he's dropped back. That's going to cost him. Leon van Wyk, I don't believe he's going to be able to get close enough unless he can do something amazing through here. No. Leon van Wyk to a 141.558 by Luc Lekizi. Daniel Lamprecht holding on at this stage of the fight, making sure that the gap is big enough that it cannot be transgressed at all. Let's have a look at Timothy Stephen and Graham. Timothy Stanton. Why do I get to Timothy Stephen? Timothy Stanton and Graham Stephen. That's the two. Super Senior in there behind that. Sandro Bakari, the man that's leading out the Grand Masters. In fact, while we're about it, let's have a look at those Grand Masters points as we are on lap 8 of 15. Sandro Bakari that leads out on 555 from Peter van der Spey. That's closed quite a bit on 480 points. So getting a whole bunch closer is Peter van der Spey after the initial part of the season where, what was it, 7 of the first 8 races was won out by Sandro Bakari over Peter van der Spey in the Grand Masters. And Luc Lekizi, has he gone into the pits yet? Let's have a look at the pit stops. Only Willem Botha and Leonardo Bakari have been in and out of the pits. And seeing that we are on lap number 8, anytime from here on out, you're going to find the Momo 24 car dive into the pits. Is it going to be this lap? I wouldn't be surprised. No, it's... Yes, it is. He goes in. Right, now it's on. Now it's on. Where's Daniel Lamprecht? Daniel Lamprecht has got Leon van Wyk. Does Leon van Wyk take the opportunity to blast past? Nope, he's going to go into the pits as well. He fancies having maybe a little bit quicker pit stop there. Graham Stephen dives in as well. We're at the halfway mark. There comes Timothy Stanton. What about Sandro Bakari? Super Senior. He's on his way in as well. JJ van der Merwe. There he comes through. Everybody's in the pit lane. That's JJ van der Merwe. Peter van der Spey. There comes Peter van der Spey as well. I think Luc Lekizi is probably pretty close to standing dead still. Luc Lekizi standing dead still. There is Daniel Lamprecht, Leon van Wyk, Graham Stephen. And the first man that comes out is in fact Luc Lekizi. Who's going to be the next man to come out? Will it be Daniel Lamprecht or is it going to be Leon van Wyk? Has made it. Leon van Wyk has jumped Daniel Lamprecht. Daniel Lamprecht is still standing. Daniel Lamprecht is still standing. Here comes Timothy Stanton. Daniel Lamprecht is still standing. There comes Timothy Stanton. And Graham Stephen works his way out. This is exactly what Daniel Lamprecht does not need. Even Sandro Bakari works his way out. JJ van der Merwe works his way out. Well, I think that it's possible that Daniel Lamprecht did something wrong with the settings for the pit stop, because he is still standing in the pits as Peter van der Spey works his way out of the pit lane. Daniel Lamprecht still standing there. Gerald Ferrari comes into the pits, and only now do we see Gerald Ferrari that is into the pits, and that's going to cost him dearly. Oh, it's going to be a long way back as he starts it up to get back out. So everybody has now been in and out of the pits. Let's see whose pit lane time was the quickest of everybody. From the time that you go onto the rev limiter, into the pit lane and come out, 46.4. Luke Lucchese, he looks like he aced that one. 47.4, 48.9, 51, 51.2. JJ van der Merwe was a little bit quicker in and out there, and Peter van der Spey was pretty quick running in and out of the pit. So that is the total time that you are in the pit lane. Luke Lucchese leads out by quite a margin from Leon van Wyk. They're pretty spread out now behind Leon van Wyk in the being IT entry. The next man that we will see will in fact be Timothy Stanton. From Graham Stephen, 6 seconds further back is going to be Sandro Bakari. From JJ van der Merwe, the next one coming through will be Willem Botha. I don't think you'll be too happy with this one. Willem in that 7th position. He didn't qualify as high up as what we would have expected. Coming up over the rise is Peter van der Spey. Having been so long in the pit lane, Daniel Lamprecht has dropped a long way down. And then for some other reason, Gerald Ferrari. Now, I don't remember Gerald Ferrari having any big offs in any way whatsoever that has put him that far back. Gerald Ferrari, to my mind, only had that one incident when he went very, very slowly. It was almost as if he couldn't get gears. Look at that. Look how slow he's going. There he stops. So something must have gone wrong at that point, that Gerald Ferrari stood for so long. He just stood dead still. And then you probably find that when he got it sorted out and he actually got going, well, there you can see that is where he actually lost all that time. So Gerald Ferrari, 13 seconds off the back end of a Daniel Lamprecht. Both of them will be rather unhappy with that. Leon van Wyk, I think he's a little bit too far now off the back end of Luke Lucchese, 142.9. Luke Lucchese did a 141.56. Lap 11 of 15, 18 minutes and into the 25 for race number 1, a possible 15 laps. The man that might still make up a position is Graham Stephen. Graham Stephen on the back end of Timothy. Timothy Stanton's doing very well in this race. I think Timothy Stephen will be quite happy with what he's managed to do in this one, in that 3rd position. To hold off the likes of Graham Stephen, you got to go some. You really have to go some. So Timothy Stanton, when he looks back, the ominous view of the Rothmans Audi of Graham Stephen, the brother of Michael Stephen, is going to be doing some international duty with Nick Adcock for the first 6 rounds of Nick's overseas campaign. Lovely sound of that Audi 90. Locks up that right hand front once again. And you see how quickly the car accelerates and it picks up pace. Let's have a look if we can actually pick up the inside of the car as to that rev limiter as such. There you can see there's the rev counter. Nice and smooth as he drops it down through gulp. 7,800 RPM. Will he pull yet another gear? Oh, that's riding it to the limit. Talking about to the limit, JJ van der Merwe is going for the passing maneuver. JJ van der Merwe up on the inside line on Sandro Bakari. Runs it wide. Sandro, oh, they almost made contact with that one. 20 minutes and 17 seconds into this race. Very much of a muchness between the two of them. Possible 3 laps to go. JJ's under pressure. That is for sure. Sandro Bakari all over his back bumper. Let's ride on board with Sandro Bakari and let's live this experience with him. 6th overall, leading out on the grand. Oh, getting a... That 4-wheel drive just pulls you straight. You just got to have the guts to keep your foot on the loud pedal. Over that blind rise, try and work out where is the right line on your way in to make sure that you clip that apex just correctly. 141.550, a race best and a personal best for Luke Lukizi. Luke Lukizi is in a class of his own. He's going through turn number 2, Lagos already. As we ride on board with Super Senior Sandro Bakari. He's got 18 seconds on Peter van der Spey. Let's have a look, see what time 265, 267, 269 kilometers an hour in 6th gear was Sandro Bakari. Let's see what is the likes of Luke Lukizi do in a same and similar situation. 200 kilometers an hour into that blind rise. Double right-hander. Down through the dip. Pull it to the left-hand side. Hope he's going to go down towards Sagres. Just keeps on turning, keeps on turning, keeps on turning. Now, let's see what he can do from here. 160, 170, 180, 190. Lift off lightly, make sure that it turns itself in 170, 180, 190, 200, 210, 220, 230. 5th gear, 240, 250 in 5th gear. Still got another gear to go. 260. Holds it in that gear. 7,800 RPM in 5th gear, 260 kilometers an hour. And that's what it's like to ride on board with Luke Lukizi when he's doing what he does best. Got to go back to Graham Stephen. Graham Stephen, can he make a plan to get past Timothy Stanton? Timothy's driven an impeccable race so far. Lap number 14 of a possible 15. Probably find when Luke Lukizi comes through will be for the oopsie, a little bit of contact there. No harm done. As they say in the classics, no foul, no penalty. 23 minutes 49. I think Luke Lukizi's got to be on the white flag. Surely the next time he comes through, Luke Lukizi is going to be for the checkered flag. Let's go to Luke Lukizi. He works his way for the last time. Probably. Although, no, you might have to do another lap after this one. 24 minutes 17 seconds. So probably fine. He's going to pick up the white flag when he comes through now. Down through the dip. Over the rise he's going to come. There comes the white flag. So it's the last lap for Luke Lukizi. There comes Leon van Wyk. 20 seconds behind him. He comes out into the straight for the last time. Leon van Wyk. There you see the white flag on the left hand side. Here comes Timothy Stanton. Impeccable drive. Timothy Stanton holding off Graham Stephen. Still holding off on Graham Stephen. Next man to come through will be JJ van der Merwe. Keep an eye on the left-hand side of your screen as they go over the rise. There you can see there's the white flag. Sandro Bakari, super senior. The recovering Daniel Lamprecht finds himself a long way back. Daniel Lamprecht, 22 seconds off Sandro Bakari. Bit of a treacherous corner that he's working his way through there. Peter van der Spey, the next man coming through behind him. Then Gerald Fourie. I think it must have been connectivity problems or something or other that took him out of it. Willem Botha. Never ever seen Willem. I think Willem's going to park it. He's slowing it right down. He's Willem Botha. Yeah, he's decided it's going to make no difference whatsoever. He pulls it straight into the pit. So let's go back to that leader. 20.5 seconds ahead of everybody, and he just slows it down. I think he doesn't want to affect everybody's points. So Luke Lucchese, out of decency, parks it on the side of the track. And he says, I ain't going no further. And through comes, oh, he's actually taken himself completely out of it, Luke Lucchese. He doesn't want to upset the points. That's going to hand the lead to Leon van Wyk. And Leon van Wyk is going to win this one. There's the checkered flag for Leon. Oh, Timothy Stanton. Timothy Stanton holding out on Graham Stevens. Graham Stevens all over his back bumper. Doesn't get any closer than that. There comes JJ van der Merwe. JJ comes through. Ahead of super senior Sandro Bakari. He racks up another win. Daniel Lamprecht, the next man that's going to be coming through. So nice of Luke Lucchese. Doesn't ride all the rounds. Doesn't want to steal points away from anybody. And he says, I'll just pull off and give you guys the points. There comes Daniel Lamprecht. Peter van der Spey. And Gerald Fourie. Awesome stuff. So that means that on the invert, Luke Lucchese is going to be coming off the second last row of the grid. Let's have a look, see how did it play out in the qualifying first of all. So it was Luke from Gerald, Daniel and JJ. Well, the end of the race looks completely different to the way that it started. That is for sure, because if you take that one, Luke, okay, he would have won it. He took himself out. Gerald Fourie ended up a long way down. Daniel Lamprecht a long way down. JJ, Leon, Timothy, Graham. That's the trick. Leon, Timothy, and Graham. Let's have a look at that race number one. Leon, Timothy, and Graham. There it is. That's how it played out. So JJ did pretty well. I'm going to give that one to, I think, look, Leon did brilliantly. Give it to Leon. But I think Timothy Stanton absorbing that pressure and keeping ahead of the high-flying, super quick Graham Stephen. I think I'm going to give that one the driver of race number one to Timothy Stanton. I think that's going to be the right way to go. So if we look at it from a Masters point of view, Leon from Timothy, Graham, JJ, Daniel, Gerald, then Luke and Willem Botha. And if we look at the Grand Masters, it will be Sandro from Peter and then Leonardo Bakari. So if we look at that one in terms of the Masters and we bring up the points for the Masters, keeping in mind that Leon van Wyk was second on 491 as opposed to 497, and Gerald Fourie dropped all the way down to 6th position. That probably means that unofficially Leon van Wyk is right up there, and then 460 for Graham Stephen, and he also would have then taken some points out of Gerald Fourie as well. That's how it looks. And that's going to change. So I think on the basis of what we got now, probably provisionally Leon van Wyk could be the highest point scorer overall after race number one from Gerald Fourie and then Graham Stephen. And then I think Timothy Stanton, with only 2 points behind Neil Lamprecht, Timothy Stanton would have gone up from 5th up into that 4th position. Pretty Hammond Lazarus is not with us at the moment. We're going to take a short break and come back to you with race number 2. So, season 13, round number 9, Audi 90 at Algarve. And let me tell you that you can pick up this live stream on Second Gear Productions on YouTube, and then it's also going to be shared to numerous other platforms. And we have already opened up the applications for the next season, season number 14. So go and have a look on the Second Gear page, Second Gear Productions. You can have a look on the Sports and GT page as well, and you can get into contact with the likes of Leon van Wyk and Luke Lucchese, or you can get hold of myself, Gary Gazer, the English division of Yo Stasi, Second Gear Productions, Second Gear Talk Show, and I can direct you to the right people in the right place, and you can then become part of season 14 of the Masters series. And I do believe that it's gonna be a biggie, that is for sure. So let's have a look at that grid for race number 1. Is already done. Here we go for race number 2. So Gerald Ferree. Oh, well, good night, boys. If Gerald Ferree starts in the front row of the grid, if nothing goes wrong, he's going to up, dust, and disappear. Now, remember, Peter van der Spey this time starts ahead of Sandro Bakari, so he's going to be hell-bent on keeping that gap between himself and Sandro Bakari. He's got Daniel Lamprecht between them there as well. So JJ van der Merwe, Graham Stephen, Timothy Stanton, Leon van Wyk, Luke Lucchese, and Willem Botha coming off the back end of the pack with Leonardo Bakari. So I think the marker for the likes of Leon van Wyk, Luke Lucchese, Timothy Stanton, Graham Stephen, and to a certain degree JJ van der Merwe as well, is going to be Gerald Ferree. They cannot let Gerald get away. If Gerald gets away, he's gone. It's history. It's good night, nurse. Have a battle for second position. When Gerald Ferree's in front, he doesn't make mistakes very easily. You've got to go and fetch him. He's not going to fall back to you. You've got to go and fetch him. So, this is it. Round number 9 of season 13. And we're about to go racing. Let's get a little track map up there. And a little battle box. There you can see where they are. Gerald Ferree and Peter van der Spey. Now, Peter van der Spey, knowing that Sandro Bakari is not that far behind him, he's directly behind him, he knows he's got to get a clean run through turn number 1. Does he just try and follow through and not fight Gerald Ferree, but follow through on him? Or does he go hammer and tongs and try and go one-on-one with Gerald Ferree for turn number 1? Gerald Ferree cannot afford to get held up in any format whatsoever. He's got to get away before the big hitters come. They work their way through Galp. 11 vehicles out there. Leonardo Bakari has not clicked in. I think that connectivity problems has cost him pretty dearly. The Porsche pace car is going to peel off. And here we go. Sitting nice and tight. Gerald Ferree is ready to go. Peter van der Spey is holding back quite a bit. Peter van der Spey must move forward. He's going to give that position away because look at Daniel Lamprecht. Daniel Lamprecht is good to go, and so is Sandro Bakari. And here Peter van der Spey puts foot, and Daniel Lamprecht dives out Sandro Bakari. Oh, there's the second of the Rothmans Audis that's coming through there. Daniel Lamprecht has got Timothy Stanton on his inside. Timothy Stanton makes contact with the number 1 car. Unfortunately, they swapped lines there, and unfortunately that's going to drop them down. There was Graham Stephen and Timothy Stanton. So Gerald Ferree has done what he needs to do. Peter van der Spey has done what he needs to do. Look, Lucchese has come all the way from the back of the pack. He's come right through. There's Daniel Lamprecht. There's JJ van der Merwe. There is Leon van Wyk. Willem Botha that started off the back end of the grid, and then the recovering Timothy Stanton from Sandro Bakari, and in there behind that is Graham Stephen. So very unlucky incident there. That started off, I think, let's have another look at that one quickly while we can. There you can see Timothy Stanton up on that inside line, on the inside of Daniel Lamprecht. Neil backs out of it completely. Timothy climbs the curbstone, touches up against the number 1 car of Graham Stephen and turns the two of them around. As you can see, Timothy Stanton there, he manages to get going. Graham Stephen manages to get going as well. And then Sandro Bakari had an incident as well. Let's see what happened to Sandro. Yep, unfortunately just nowhere to go with the 172. It's got to turn that one around, that four-wheel drive Audi Quattro, Audi 90. And he gets going, and that just ahead there of Graham Stephen. So that opens up a highway for Peter van der Spy. He lost out to Sandro Bakari in the first heat. This is his opportunity to make up for that points that he dropped down. It's Gerald Ferree that's got almost 2 seconds on Look Easy. That's going to be a fight of note. Gerald, Daniel Lamprecht with JJ, and then look there behind that. Leon van Wyk comes up on that inside line of Peter van der Spy. Peter van der Spy knows he doesn't need to fight these guys in for the Grand Masters title, not the Masters title. So Leon van Wyk ahead there of Peter van der Spy. Now Peter van der Spy can just slipstream these guys in front of him. He's got Willem Botha behind him. He's got Timothy Stanton behind him. And only then comes Sandro Bakari recovering the 172. Graham Stephen will have a look up on the inside. With that number 1 car, he'll hold that inside line and he will make that move. So, first position taken back for Graham Stephen. 3 seconds off the back end of Timothy Stanton. How? Well, I mean, he's had a battle earlier on with Timothy Stanton and he couldn't get past him. Can he this time around? Go, he being Graham Stephen, can he go and fetch Timothy Stanton? Timothy Stanton's 5 seconds off the back end of Willem Botha. Now Willem Botha didn't have a great race number 1. Will he be on the right kind of pace to hold on to the back end of Peter van der Spy and all close on Peter van der Spy? He's got it to just under a second so far as they work their way out into the straight. Gerald Ferree from Look Easy. Daniel Lamprecht. JJ van der Merwe. Leon van Wyk. Peter van der Spy. Willem Botha. There comes Timothy Stanton. And Graham Stephen. Oh, it looks like Willem Botha's just changed positions. Willem Botha. Oh, I think there might have been an incident there. Willem Botha passing Peter van der Spy. Oh, Peter van der Spy that got that corner wrong. Willem Botha goes around the outside, but he's got to take a horrible line to get there. Peter initially gets back in front of him, but then has to drop behind Willem Botha. So Willem Botha says, thank you very much. I will take that one. Peter van der Spy trying to fight it back, but you won't get inside of Willem Botha under braking very, very easy. Although he does very well, does Peter van der Spy. He was right there with Willem Botha. Now, if we go to, that's on the replay. Let's go back there to Willem Botha. There's Willem Botha. Let's ride on board with Willem Botha. And look at what he sees in front of him. The being IT entry of Leon van Wyk from JJ van der Merwe. As we said, this is season 13 that you're busy seeing, and registrations are open. Go and have a look on our website, on our page, on our live streams. I'm going to put it up on the Second Gear page as well. How to become part of this elite group of Masters and Grand Masters. Leon van Wyk, the man that you see directly in front of you, and he is all over the back of JJ van der Merwe. JJ van der Merwe is looking like he wants to get onto Daniel Lamprecht, but he's actually got to have a look at this, because here he comes, going for the move. Leon van Wyk on JJ van der Merwe. Can JJ do the inimitable cutback? He tries to do the cutback. See, Willem Botha's got a lot closer. Willem Botha just 1.6 seconds behind them. Willem Botha is also on a charge. Willem Botha has taken 3 seconds, 3.2 out of Peter van der Spey. And while these two battle it out and slow one another down just a smidgen, it's going to be all about that man, Willem Botha. He's the one that's going to be trying to close in and up. But another titanic struggle that has come up that we have not had a look at yet. Lap 4 of 15 laps, 6 minutes 33 into the 25 minutes. Look easy. Came off the back end of the pack. Gerald Fourie, they came off the front end of the pack. You don't rattle Gerald Fourie. It just doesn't happen. He's not someone going to, I hope it's not going to be a commentator's curse, but he's not going to make any mistakes. If Look easy wants to pass him, he's going to have to make that passing maneuver. Gerald Fourie gives him fair game up the inside. I think Luke is going to go to the front. That line was not covered. And Luke Easy goes to the front, and Gerald Fourie follows him through. Now, Gerald Fourie will be aware that Luke Easy is not really in the points at all, and he doesn't want to affect the points, and that Luke Easy actually stopped on the last corner of race number 1, as we keep an eye on Luke Easy and Gerald Fourie. He stopped on the outside of the circuit, clicked out, and gave the win to Leon van Wyk because he didn't want to affect their points. You'll probably find Gerald Fourie is aware of that, and you'll think, well, why must I fight you? We end up going off. Daniel Lamprecht, we've taken 5.1 seconds out of him. He then catches up and goes past. Talking about Daniel Lamprecht, you just saw him there in the background. There's Daniel Lamprecht, there's Leon van Wyk, and there's JJ van der Merwe, and there's Willem Botha. Willem Botha 1.7 off the back end. Let's have a look at the last lap time. Willem Botha, a 43.3, a 44.3. Willem Botha took a whole second out of JJ. But remember, JJ was passed by Peter van der Spey. There you can see the passing maneuver that he did make. So that was on the previous lap. So that will affect it a little bit, but not a lot. Willem Botha a 1:43.305 on the last lap. And oh, the fastest lap. So almost breaking a 41, a 1:42.001. What a lovely lap time there by Luke Easy. That was blindingly quick by Luke Easy. He's got open space in front of him now. And you'll probably find the reason why that lap was so quick was because he was using the slipstream of Gerald Fourie and then did the passing maneuver without losing any time. So I'm going to guesstimate and I'm going to predict that nobody's going to beat that 1:42.001 that Luke Easy did using the slipstream and the passing maneuver on Gerald Fourie. That is why he managed to get such a brilliantly quick time in there. Luke Easy is the fastest man out there. His best lap is that 1:42. It actually shows 001 there. 1:42.57 is Gerald's fastest lap. So that is 5 tenths, almost 6 tenths of a second slower. A 1:43.38 slower, Daniel Lamprecht's best. A 1:43.09, Leon van Wyk having his fastest lap, the better part of 2 tenths quicker than Daniel Lamprecht. A 1:42.8. That's very, very good. That was by JJ van der Merwe, and that was then the third fastest best lap of everybody was then JJ van der Merwe, if we look at that one like that. Nobody's been into the pits yet. Let's just make 100% sure. Oh, Graham Stephen has been in and out, but look at that, 37 seconds that he's behind. And yeah, that is quite a big gap for Graham Stephen. Bernardo Bakari not having started this race, unfortunately. Looks like that connectivity problem's got for him. Look easy from Gerald Fourie. Up the climb they go. Daniel Lamprecht finds himself 6 seconds further back. Now, Neil has he's probably the newest of the additions to this series. He's acquitted himself exceptionally well. He's always up there in that, getting a bit of a four-wheel drift there. Bit of a pop and splatter there from Leon van Wyk. Did he miss a gear? It looked like they all of a sudden lost drive, and then he got it going again. JJ van der Merwe right in there behind him. JJ van der Merwe having a look-see. What can he do here? Is there a way? Over the rise they go. Oh, locking up that right there in front is Daniel Lamprecht. We ride on board with the 67 of JJ. Nicely not touching the curbstone. Doesn't cost him any adhesion whatsoever. Just listen to the sound of that Audi 90. Straight pipe coming out just in front of the back wheel as he works his way through the gears. Well, we've got Leon van Wyk's gone into the pits. Leon van Wyk is into the pits. Let's have a look-see. Oh, it'll feel like forever. Well, the main thing now for Leon van Wyk, he's got to come out ahead of Graham Stephen. The being IT entry, long pit lane, 80 kilometers an hour. Stops in his pit box. Just about good to go. Time ticks away and ticks away and ticks away. There he's going now for the pit exit. That is Leon van Wyk. And where is Graham Stephen? Graham Stephen just coming through that last corner. So Leon van Wyk comfortably ahead of Graham Stephen. Willem Botha slowly but surely edging closer to JJ van der Merwe. Millimeter for millimeter is down to 7/10 of a second. Now remember, for those of you that missed out on race number 1, it looks like going out into the front main as you come out of Galp, you need to be within 4/10 of a second to be able to do a slipstream and passing maneuver down into turn number 1, otherwise known as Primera. So within 4/10 you've got to be. Willem Botha 6/10 off JJ. JJ must not make any mistakes now. He's got to hold on. Keep an eye on what Daniel Lamprecht is doing. Keep an eye on what's happening behind him. We're lap number 9 and it's time for the pits. It's time for the pits. Here we go. It's Luc Lekese that's in. It's Gerald Fourie that started in pole position. That's in. It's Daniel Lamprecht in there behind that. JJ van der Merwe. Willem Botha locked up as they came to the line. He said, man, I can't wait for you. I'm going to use every millisecond that there is. Timothy Stanton's come in as well. Peter van der Spey has come in. And wow, look how close Sandro Bakari is behind Peter van der Spey. So he's caught up quite a bit. Gerald Fourie standing still, and Luc Lekese makes his way out. Who's going to be the next man on the move? As Luc Lekese comes out, will it be Gerald Fourie? JJ is going to get out. JJ van der Merwe. Oh, they're going to fight it as they go back onto the track now. It's JJ van der Merwe and Daniel Lamprecht. JJ van der Merwe is just ahead of Daniel Lamprecht. Willem Botha comes out now as well. Timothy Stanton, he works his way out. Peter van der Spey works his way out. Sandro Bakari, there he comes. Be dying to get off that pit limiter so that he can get out there. Daniel Lamprecht, remember how close he was with JJ van der Merwe. He's going to have a look for that inside line now. Is he going to try and outbrake JJ? JJ gives him lots of space. Says, I think you're a bit late on the brakes. I'll just do the classic cutback. And JJ van der Merwe goes back ahead of Daniel Lamprecht. I think Daniel Lamprecht is probably speaking a bit of French inside that motor car now. How did JJ van der Merwe get ahead of me? And just in front of them is Leon van Wyk as well. Left-hand drive. Audi 90. Feather it up over the blind rise. You've got to climb on the brakes before you can even see the apex of the corner. You've got to have a marker somewhere on the side of the car. that you know when to climb on the brakes instinctively. That's my word for the day, instinctively. JJ runs a little bit wider, but he gets good drive out of the corner. Not bad. Is JJ van der Merwe going to be the driver of race number 2? Well, if he can stay in view of Leon van Wyk and he can somehow hold out to Daniel Lamprecht, then I'm going to make JJ driver of this race. But he's close enough. Remember, I said 0.4. He should get the drive from here. JJ needs to cover that right-hand side line, and he has not. JJ has not covered that right-hand side line, and that is going to cost him unless... Oh, he tried to turn in to do the cutback, but it was not going to be. Daniel Lamprecht gets himself up into the top 3. JJ with some late braking there. It very much looked like left-foot braking to me. Still nothing between the two of them. Daniel Lamprecht's running it right into the rev limiter. You can see every time that wastegate closes up, it pops and splatters, spits that flame out as he goes through the gears. Daniel Lamprecht, he is 16ths ahead of JJ van der Merwe. He's 2.4 behind Leon van Wyk, that's just gone over the rise. I just saw him coming there into the picture. JJ's not being dropped. JJ's staying right there with Daniel Lamprecht. Looked like there was a bit of dirt that had been thrown onto the circuit there. Must say, a nice, lovely, clear picture that we've got. A big thanks to the Big Six that made it possible to upgrade my equipment so we can come to you in 1440p 2560 by the description of the clarity that we've got. And the Big Six that grouped together and said, Second Gear Productions, here's a lovely computer for you with a beautiful color card. And that's how we can bring you this 60 frames per second, 1440. And you can keep an eye on the likes of Daniel Lamprecht staying ahead of JJ van der Merwe. So look, the keys, he's up, Dustin disappeared once again at the front end of the pack, but I'm sure he'll relinquish that. So Leon van Wyk is well on his way right now to a double header win. Leon van Wyk, closest to him, Daniel Lamprecht, who's just gotten past JJ van der Merwe. Both of them working their way ahead of the 23 car of Willem Botha. There comes Timothy Stainton, the recovering Graham Stephen. Let's go back to the Grandmasters, the Super Seniors. Oh, this is the battle. This is the battle. Sandro Bakari on Peter van der Spey. Let's ride on board with Sandro Bakari. This is for all the marbles in the packet. Lap 11 of 15. Peter van der Spey is going to be hell-bent on making sure that he holds Sandro Bakari behind him. What a lovely guy, Peter van der Spey. And in fact, Sandro Bakari, two amazing guys. Let's just hope that they don't have any contact. It doesn't affect anybody's race. Completely different lines been taken by Sandro Bakari to try and stick his nose in and get the drive on Peter van der Spey. Dives to the left, dives to the right, makes sure they don't make any contact. Look at that. Now that is sportsmanlike. Sandro Bakari made contact, put Peter slightly off his line, waited. You could hear he didn't climb on the gas. He waited for Peter van der Spey to first climb on the gas, and then he climbed on the loud pedal and then restarted the fight between the two of them. 0.37 of a second as they go out into the front main. Is that going to be close enough? I don't think so. You'll probably get right onto the back bumper, but I don't think you'll be able to make the passing maneuver. Sandro Bakari looks at that inside line. How's that for intimidation? Peter van der Spey sweating it out. Captain Pete, the man that flies golf jets for a living all around the world, goes for a reaccreditation every year. Oh, now he's got a good run. Now he's got a brilliant run. And Sandro Bakari looks for that inside line. Peter van der Spey says, you can keep coming. I'm not going to back out for you. Oh, I think he's got it now. I think Sander Bakari's got it. He's got it alongside Peter van der Spey. Peter van der Spey will be on the inside of the next corner. He'll make sure they do not make any contact, but Sander Bakari has gone through. Sander Bakari, Super Senior, goes through on Peter van der Spey. Nice gentlemanly fight between the two of them. That was fantastic. Less than 4 minutes to go with this one. Let's go back to JJ van der Merwe and Daniel Lamprecht. So Daniel Lamprecht got past JJ van der Merwe, but he didn't drop JJ van der Merwe. JJ's right there with him. I feel a bit sorry for JJ losing out on that one, because that could have cost him driver of the day. The fact that he allowed Daniel, ooh, look at the being IT entry there of Leon van Wyk. Remember, in the absence of Luc Lekizi at the end of this race, that man, Leon van Wyk, is going to have a double header win. Exactly what he needed. It has not worked out for Gerald Fourie. There was only 4 points between himself and Gerald Fourie going into this one. And if I've got my facts correctly, no, I think there was around about 6 points between the two of them. Gerald Fourie from Leon van Wyk, 491 to 497. And Leon van Wyk with 2 wins and Gerald Fourie with 2 results you'd rather forget. I'm not sure if they're going to be dropping any of the rounds at all. That's going to then maybe even it out just a little. But remember, we have started with registration for the next season. So have a look at our website, have a look at our web pages. Make sure that you get your application in, that you can join in for the next season. Just see if I can pick up that information for you. So if you want to join up with the guys in the Discord, it's https://masters/series.co.za, and that is in the Discord. And you can then have a shofty and look, see exactly how that one plays itself out, and listen to the guys behind the scenes to see exactly what they're chatting about and what is the way to go going forward for these guys. So the website, https //masters/series.co.za, that is where you can go and have a look see, and you can get your registration going at masters/series.co.za/entry, and that is how you can enter into the oh, look at all the gravel that's on the side of the circuit there. Somebody a couple of cars must have touched the gravel earlier on for us to end up with that situation that we have there now. So let's go back to the front end of the field, and it's all about that man, Luc Lekizi. He's doing it all right, making sure that he's way ahead of everybody else, even ahead of that man, Leon van Wyk. From Daniel Lamprecht, who cannot get away from JJ van der Merwe. How far back is Willem Botha? Willem Botha finds himself a little bit further back. From Timothy Stanton. Graham Stephen in there behind him. Sander Bakari, that's gotten ahead of Peter van der Spey. Peter van der Spey will rue that opportunity to have beat out one of these two racers on the likes of Sander Bakari. And there, Gerald Fourie. Not a great night's racing for him whatsoever. Not what he expected, wanted, or desired. And that's going to do serious harm to his points for the season as well. Luc Lekizi does a best of 141.62 from Leon van Wyk. Can Daniel Lamprecht have a go still at this late stage on Leon van Wyk and take away a double win. It's not impossible. Let's run aboard with Daniel Lamprecht. That's his marker. And we are just about on 25 minutes. And it's just about time to go for that checkered flag for Look Easy as he takes the checkers. Or was that the checker? I think it was on 25 minutes. Coming through now is Leon van Wyk. Yep, that was the checkered flag. Leon van Wyk, Daniel Lamprecht, JJ van der Merwe, Willem Botha, Timothy Stanton, Graham Stephen, Peter van der Spey ahead of Sandro Bakari. Peter van der Spey ahead of Sandro Bakari. Wow. We'll have to try and find where that one happened. And there comes Gerald Ferree. Peter van der Spey passing Sandro Bakari. Oh, Sandro made a mistake on the last lap. Can you believe it? Sandro Bakari right there on the last, that one happened, and that is how Peter van der Spey beat out. So that's exactly what Peter wanted and needed at that point, that he could then go and pick up that win and make sure that it wasn't a double header for Sandro Bakari. Unfortunately, our results does not want to pull through on our SDK. So there is the track that we were on. Algarve with the Audi 90s. That was brilliant stuff, I must say. That was really, really interesting to see how that one played itself out with all these top riders. Let's just see if we can get that results to come up for you with a bit of luck. Unfortunately, our computer's not playing 100% with us this evening. So what I can tell you is Look Easy from Leon van Wyk, from Daniel Lamprecht, JJ van der Merwe, from Willem Botha and Timothy Stanton. That was your top 6. Peter van der Spey beating out. Oh, what a brilliant. Oh, it was an amazing one, that one. Sandro Bakari right on the last, just getting the hammer down a little bit too much and getting it completely sideways. So a win and a second for Sandro Bakari, a win and a second for Peter van der Spey. Leonardo coming up third in the Grandmasters in heat number 1, and then not being able to get back in for heat number 2. Daniel Lamprecht, well, he took the glory away there from JJ van der Merwe. So Leon van Wyk with the first and second. Luke Easy with a DNF and a first. Daniel Lamprecht that came up very strong in that second race, as always. But I think I'm going to give this one to JJ van der Merwe. I don't think he's bad driver of the day virtually ever, JJ van der Merwe, and coming up with a very creditable 4th position, holding out Neil for many, many laps. And then even when Neil got past him, holding sway as best as he possibly could. So I think driver of the day for race number 2, that's going to go to JJ van der Merwe. Well, folks, that wraps it up for this evening. Remember that you need to join up next season. You need to be part of this one. And you can go to masters series.co.za, or you can go to your masters-series.co.za/entries, and like that you can enter and be part. Yes, there is a age limit to it, but yeah, if you're a nice clean driver, you're a good guy, you're a nice guy, you probably find they're going to say to you, you know what, we'll allow you to come and join us as well, because we would like to have quality drivers with us. And we'd like to see you, we'd like to see you join us for season number 14. We're on round number 9. We've still got 10, 11, and 12 to go. My name is Gary Fleming. It's an honor and a pleasure being here with you this evening. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Enjoy your long weekend. And join us next week, same time at 10 to 9, when we go for round number 10. From my side, Second Gear Productions. Cheers, everybody.